Shane's coming to pick me up. We're going to the shop. Gonna be a good day of working on stuff. Hi, Shane.
What's up, guys? Let's go put some new suspension in my Mustang.
I'm coming. You didn't wait for me.
All right, today we got the Mustang in the shop. It just came out of hibernation, starting to get warmer around here. The roads are starting to get clean, so I'm okay with bringing it out. But we've got some stuff to do to it. We've got aftermarket parts we're going to install, and then we need to do basic maintenance stuff for bringing it out of storage and getting it ready to go on the road. It's like an oil change, new transmission fluid. We're gonna go over the rear end, make sure everything on that is good, all the front suspension, and just make sure it's ready for the season and ready to get going. Here we go. All right, so first things first, we're gonna change the oil. And then I did notice from pulling it out of the garage up top that the power steering was leaking. And I believe that's what all this wetness is from. So we'll check some tightness on fittings and whatnot. Like this line is loose, so I think that's where it's probably coming from. But before we get to that and get some cleanup done, I'll get in the side here and drain the oil. Hey James, what are you doing over here? That's not a coloring board.
But it's our discount code for
For
Boxo
what?
USA. Go check it out. That dude's 10.
Link in the description. All right, while that oil is draining, I'm going to find the filter adapter for the oil filter. And then we'll figure out how to drain the transmission. All right, now that the engine's done draining, we'll get in here and get the filter out of it. Right, apparently that's not the right adapter. Doesn't like that one. That one feels better. Really would like engineers to think about where they put their oil filters. before they stuff an engine in a car. Because wouldn't it be nice to have the oil drain down into the pan without getting all over everything? Like, why soak my steering rack in oil if I don't have to? Throwing on a Wix XP 51372. Wet the seal. I'm not going to bother filling this filter just because it sits on the edge and I won't get a good, probably lose half of it. And now I never use the oil filter adapters to put the oil filter back on. Just get it nice and as tight as you can. And then by hand give it a yeah. There we go. And then clean up the mess it made. And that, other than adding oil to the car, which we'll do when we drive it back down, is an oil change on a 2000 Ford Mustang. Okay, now we're going to drain the transmission. And oddly enough, this manual transmission uses Ford Markron 5 automatic transmission fluid in the transmission. And of course, the drain and fill drains in a convenient area. Fill is not. Drain is right here. Fill is just up to the left of it, kind of in behind the transmission mount. So we'll throw the drain pan back under here, open this up with a 3/8 ratchet, and then drain that out. Definitely needed an oil change. This filter's heavy. Oh, alrighty then. There it is. Curious to see what comes out of here because the transmission does act funny a little every once in a while. And it's probably going to pour all over the exhaust and smoke and Well, it's red. And it doesn't smell torched, so that's good. It actually looks like it might have been replaced more recently than I thought, because it is still pretty red. Granted, it doesn't go through the same stuff in a manual transmission that it would in an automatic, so it probably will come out cleaner. Now we'll try to get a tool on the fill plug. Maybe if we're lucky, the same setup will work. Doesn't appear as though we're lucky today. One came out easier. Good. I don't have a fluid pump, I don't think, so I might not be able to fill this right now. If they had put the fill 3 inches forward, it would have been easy. All right, so without the fluid pump, I'm stuck on doing the transmission right now because it's too much to get up in there with fluid bottles to try to pour drain it. So got those on the way, little pump jobby for the bottles. So we'll get to checking the power steering rack here, figure out why it's puking its guts out, and then we'll start opening up boxes for the upgrade stuff that I got. See where we go from there. All right, underneath the car, lots of oil everywhere. I don't see any significant oil loss from the engine itself, so I'm not too worried about that. I think it's just puking the power steering stuff out slowly and then coating everything. So when you come to right here, you can see a lot of fluid on this line, and it is pretty loose up there in the B-nut. So we're going to start there and then check all the other connections on the steering rack itself and go from there. All right, so I did get some movement out of this line and this line. The line that has all the fluid all over it is apparently as tight as it'll go. And it was not an easy thing to get up in there and figure that out, apparently. So hopefully it's just slow. We can just monitor it, keep adding fluid when we need to. If not, we'll get to changing the line at some point, but not today. All right, now we'll get into the unboxing of the parts that I bought for the car. This first box is from J&M Products. They do a lot of new edge Mustang stuff, older Mustang stuff, box body, whatnot. Ooh, J&M sticker. That's 10 horsepower right there. Already getting faster. So this is a set of lower control arms, non-adjustable for the rear end of the Mustang because we're still running stock stuff on it. And then now here's the other one. And then these should be the upper and another upper. Now this is a whole kit. Comes with everything you need to install it on the car. All the bushings, pins, the hardware, you use the stuff that's in the car. So I chose these because I can open it up in here, show you. They use polyurethane bushings, but they're pretty special ones because they have a soft poly inner and outer, and then a harder poly ball that goes in the center. So when these are sitting in the car, they have more rotational force on the inside of the bushing, keep the car more square, and keep them from wearing out faster. So that's neat. Unlike normal bushings that are just two polys put together, it's a flat surface, no rotational. So this should be a good upgrade for that. And then this box here from Rock Auto, I went with some AGX adjustable, they're KYB AGX adjustable gas shocks. So these replace the factory monotube nitro shock. With a manually adjustable gas shock, so if it's a little bit stiff, you can loosen it up. If you want it a little bit stiffer, you can tighten it up. The LMR kit, L&M kit was around 300 bucks, and then these were, I think they were like 75 bucks a piece. All right, so the oil change, other than putting the oil in the car, and the transmission, other than putting oil in the transmission, is all set. So now we're going to move to the back of the car and see what it's going to take to get this L&M kit installed with these new shocks and go from there. I'm excited. The rear end of this car is getting kind of sloppy. It's got 170,000 miles on the stock suspension, so other than lowering front coils, it's really all that's different. It still has stock lower control arms, stock bushings, stock struts in the front, so eventually we'll probably get to changing those out too. Especially if I like how this feels. Probably go back to L&M and try to get some more aftermarket stuff for the front end of this car. I'm excited. Working on the Mustang.